Hello and welcome to episode 20 of the Rick Chappell podcast, where I, Rick Chappell, sit around, chat about things, play some guitar, make the microphone make some noise. And this week, for guitars and sounds and whatnot, we've got the crazy echo patch. Last week I used my an Eddie Van Halen kind of thing. It wasn't my pedal even. I made a video on it and all that jazz we'll talk about. One of the videos happened to be that podcast last week. But this is the main shindig if this is your first episode. It might be because last week we hit 100 views. Or more than that, actually. But yeah, that's the most the podcast has hit so far. So welcome, new peeps, if you stuck around for this week too. I think a lot of it had to do with the pedal review I did for the UAD Black Lion Super Lead 68, I think it was called. A lot of words in the name, so it was a little hard to remember. And the long and short of my review, I should say, is that it's great. So, it's great. I didn't buy it. I wasn't thinking about buying it. I was just making a review. I'm an Axe Effects guy. My Axe Effects can do the thing, so no need to spend the money for me. But hey, if you need something that sounds like a Marshall in a box, go for it. And with that advertisement type weird intro aside, let's crack it off with comments, man. That's what we usually do to start it off here. In the past week, in the future, it'll probably just be comments on the podcast. That's the goal I'd like to get to. But for now, I'm using all the comments I get because I don't get that many. So, first one up. Last week, episode 19. Good old Rod. Wait, Kevin is a she. I'll go back and watch all your videos now. That changes everything. Yes, Kevin, my cat, is a she. She's girl Kevin. She's cleaning herself out of frame. I don't think the... Oh, the Kevin cam is working. Yeah, sure. Here, let's give you the Kevin cam. Oh, no. There we go. It's not a glamorous thing. Kev. Hey, baby bear. Is that a zoom out? No, it zooms in. Yeah. What you doing? Yeah, she'll come out when she's ready. You know, I don't want to give you the glimpse, too much of a glimpse of her backstage antics. I've always... there you can see her a little bit in the corner. I'm always moving furniture around in here and getting things, getting the angle just right, and I had it on a tripod, but I need more room, so now it's just on some cassette tapes underneath a speaker. But it's coming along well. Anyways, comments, he said. Kevin is a she. Yeah, dude, Kevin's girl Kevin. My uncle named Kevin before I got her, and he named her when she was just like in a pile of kittens, and he was like, oh, that one, let's call it Kevin. It's actually because she was so little, called like Kevin Hart, and she was a tiny little one. And there was another one called Shaq that was a big one. And I got girl Kevin. Anyways, next comment is also Rod, so let's get to it. Kevin is more of a Bogner fan, I can tell. Great pedal, especially the reverb echo. Yeah, that pedal was amazing. That video's getting some views too, so hey, we're gonna hit that 500 subscriber point soon. The next comment is our weekly Nicole comment. There we go. Sorry I didn't comment last week, which is true, you didn't. It sucks. I went grocery shopping and only bought healthy things on my list, and I was so sad about it that I went nonverbal. I get that. I get that big time. Anyways, hail Santa. It's that time of year, man. Santa Claus is coming to town. And I just wish he would stop seeing me when I was sleeping. It's been enough years. I didn't like it growing up. I don't like it now. It's creepy. Leave me alone, Santa Claus. That's my stance. I don't need your things, boy. The next one up is in Spanish. I don't speak Spanish. Here, let's translate it. He drops the guitar. Lets the ambience go on forever. Doesn't roll over his headphone cord. And uses Google Translate live on a podcast. It starts with bro. I get that. And it ends with gracias. I get that. It's the in-between stuff I'm having some trouble with. Okay, so we need Spanish, I'm pretty sure, to English. Enter text, copy paste. Bro, I've been waiting for a video like this since this pedal came out. Thanks. That's very kind of you. I tried to get that. Okay, so more about that pedal video. We're going to talk about that pedal video a bunch this week. I was trying to get that pedal as soon as possible. So all the big channels and big corporations and whatnot get these products and, you know, make their content. And then there's a launch date that everyone's allowed to post all their stuff, and it makes the internet go crazy about something, right? It's marketing. I work at a store. So by the time it gets to me is when I can take it home very quickly and in a day make one of those videos, or a night or whatever, you know? So I'm glad that you didn't have to wait too long. I got on it pretty quick this time. It actually showed up at my store a whole month ahead of schedule. So everybody wins. And of course it's already sold, but we'll get more, man. It's Christmas and people are going to get that thing for Christmas because it was great. To keep talking about gear for a second, not the whole podcast is gear, but a huge chunk of it is. There's also, oh, sorry, my, yeah. I didn't think we could do that. Okay, no, we're not going to do that for too long. That was a happy accident. What was I saying? It was a very distracting comment. Oh, there's another pedal coming that I'm very excited about. It is the new Boss IR2, which is a audio interface pedal system that looks amazing. So I'm going to try it. I'm going to use all of the features it says it has. Tape echo in a stereo loop as an audio interface, and try to just make music with it. We'll write a song. I'll try to use as many amps as I can in that little video. I usually, the way my pedal reviews work is I plug in this guitar, my 2014 Les Paul Standard, which I'm using for the 120, it's a 120th anniversary guitar, and this is the 20th episode. And listen to that sustain. Goes for days. You can go for a bite. Hooray for Spinal Tap. But yeah, I play this guitar and then I play a Stratocaster just so there's like single coil pickups and humbuckers. And then I make a piece of music with it. So with all the UAD ones so far, I've used it for the guitars and maybe added acoustic guitar or whatever. For the new one, the Marshall one, it has an Eddie Van Halen mode. So I was just like, well, I'm going to do a Eddie Van Halen-y thing. So I just kind of did some shreddy stuff. It's not all that Eddie Van Halen-esque. But at the end, there is a tapping lick I came up with that I think is pretty Eddie Van Halen-esque, and I came up with it myself. So hey, that's my proudest moment of that, and I buried it at the end. Getting better at making YouTube videos. Anyways, next up, comment, same video. I went back and forth with this guy a little bit. It says, I just ordered pedal, and I'm wondering if room reverb on this pedal is enough, or do you think I should get a dedicated reverb pedal for that early EVH Brown sound? Okay, I'll tell you, I'll go into more detail here, actually. The best way I would do it is, I'll just tell you what I use exactly, is a UAD plugin called the RMX16 Reverb. It has a preset in it called VH Drums, and it very much sounds like the room on that first Van Halen record. So if you want to get that, it's in a pedal. It's in the, I'll get my salesman knowledge on here. It's in one of the UAD reverb pedals. I think it might be the reverb station, or no, that's the echo station. I don't know. The reverberator, reverb generator. It's in that. You could do it in a pedal form that way, but he's asking, or, you know, is it worth it? The reverb in the pedal, the UAD Lion one, is amazing. You don't need to get it. I don't think a reverb pedal would be worth it. I just used additional reverb on the mix because I was trying to get it to sound more like it, you know? You use all the tools you got. So I told him that built-in reverb is great, but a delay pedal puts it over the edge, because there is a tape echo on a lot of that stuff, on Eruption and stuff. There's all kinds of echo moments that aren't reverb, they're echo. So get an echo instead, is what I was trying to say. And he was like, thinking about getting one. Then he mentioned the one. We talked about effects order. I don't need to go over all that. Yeah, okay. Nobody cares about the technical specs of that. Next up is a comment on last week's episode of the podcast, which again, 100 and something views is a record for me so far. So we're on our way up, folks. Hope you get to read this comment. You bet I do, because there's like fucking 6. Anyways, hope you get to read this comment, because I doubt I'm the only one in this situation right now. Metal horns. All right. I have one guy on my phone that texts me with metal horns, and he's in a famous band, and it's hilarious. But anyways, as a guy who puts in guitar lessons by my father, as a guy who was put in guitar lessons by my father against my will at the age of 9, I was put in it at the age of 9 on my will, but I very quickly was like a kid who didn't want to practice it ever, so then I had to practice against my will. So I do recognize this. I pretty much learned how to play and taught myself by tabs and videos. Yeah, videos weren't a thing for me yet, but tabs were, so 100%. And I had a couple good teachers. A couple not so good ones, but a couple good ones too. I'm now 22 and heavy into guitar, knowing I have the ability not a lot of people can do. Exactly. You learn something, man. It's a skill. I would like to learn how to record and a possible intro to learning how to play live and what you need to perform a good quality. Those are two totally separate things, in my opinion, but they're both good points. Heavy into Metallica, Bon Jovi, Hardline. I have no idea who Hardline is. But to get back to your ideas there, how to record and possible intro to learning how to play live, there are so many videos about that stuff. I guess making my own is not a bad idea. I appreciate that. There's a couple good ones I've seen that taught me a bunch when I was growing up too, man. Ola England had some how to record heavy bass, how to record heavy drums, how to record heavy guitar. And they were kind of early on in his channel, I guess. And I remember watching those and watching them many times. They're hilarious and informative. So I wouldn't want to rip those guys off. But hey, I do have my own setup for doing things. The way I have made my recording setup is a little more complex. But last year I did, or was it early this year? I think it was early this year. I did a clinic, like a live recording clinic at my Long McQuaid there, where I set up a small studio amount of stuff, like my laptop and an Apollo Twin interface, and then just like a guitar, a bass, an acoustic, and then I think I grabbed another guitar because I'm in a store full of guitars, and I was like, come on. So why not? And then in like 2 hours, I think, I went over what I had there, sorry, and recorded something. So we did a quick drums, bass. Sorry, I need to drink some water. I programmed the drums, I'm trying to say. And then I played the bass and I played the guitars. And I even sang a little thing. One of the guys in the audience, my buddy Devin, wrote the lyrics. So that was a whole separate thing. But so we did that. I have it up on my website, not the whole thing, but just the end product and then like the description of the gear and whatnot. I should link that to you there. But I think I'll probably do it again next year because they'll invite me back because I still work there. There's a bug. Kevin, do your thing. No bugs. You know that. So if I do it again next year, is what the point I'm trying to make, is I'll bring the camera, I'll bring a tripod, and I'll film it the same way I film the podcasts. And then I'll have it as a thing. I also do have some videos with that songwriting challenge, but they're not very informative. I kind of am just doing things. The clinic, I did my best to try to explain things as I went a little more. So, yeah, I will try to do that in a live sense and video it, because I think that would be a fun twist on intro to recording and whatnot. As for playing live, that's so unique, honestly. I mean, you say Metallica and Bon Jovi, but those even can be quite different sounds for playing live if you're going to go, depending on the route you take, you know. Guitars are similar. You can get away with, you like humbucker pickups. That's for sure. But even from that, do you like active ones? Metallica, yes. Bon Jovi, maybe not. Do you like Marshall amps or Mesa Boogie amps? Is kind of the two voicings you're going for there. Personally, I'm always spoiled with this stuff. A best of both worlds sort of deal going on. I have a Mesa Boogie head and a Marshall cabinet because I got lucky and found a great deal on that Mesa Boogie like a decade ago. It's a 1986, I believe, Mark III, and it's beautiful. Anyways, but I also split my guitar into an Axe Effects, so I have everything available to me at the flick of a button all the time. So that's really awesome. But you can use any of those things live too. That's the point I'm trying to make. Like the Axe Effects alone is 70% of the guitars on my new album that I've been working on for this year so far, which we're gonna talk about a bunch this week because it's been coming along great. So personally, I think the way to do it live, I should mention, is to go digital and even maybe go the in-ear route. But, well, you're 22. No, you're not a teenager. So, yeah, if you're getting into this for real, look into, depending on what your band wants to do too, because that's a big situation in and of itself. My favorite situation is when we all play to a click track and have in-ears, because I'm a real control freak. So the last band I was in, we did that. And it was a Christian rock band that I played the bass guitar in. Fish out of water, man. But they were all cool guys at the time and everything. So we had a bunch of fun. I'm in a music video with them. Funny enough, in the music video, I'm playing the bass guitar. With them live, I played the bass guitar. But on that recording, I mixed it and everything. So I'm very aware that I didn't play the bass guitar. And the part on the record isn't the way I played it live or anything. So it's funny that I had to mime it in the video and I didn't know what to do. But anyways, the video turned out really good, is the point I'm getting at. But for you to play live, go digital. That's my thing. Get an Axe Effects, get a Fender Tone Master Pro, get just a UAD Lion Super Lead if you like the way that pedal sounds, man. You could play live with that, go direct to a board, and you're done. As long as they have monitors for you, that's all that counts. I need more water. We got a good amount of comments last week. I think because that video is doing pretty well. The video is doing pretty well. Next up, 2 back-to-back, same person. What do we got? It's on the pedal again. I gave it a thumbs up for Kevin. Everybody does. You got to give it up for the Kev, man. She's a 1 in a million little kitten. And, you know, she's sitting kind of cute, so I can go back to the... I need to set up a constant Kev cam, don't I? That would be the way to make it, like, really... I think... Okay. Can I deliver? No, that's a guitar pedal. So we're going to work on this and try not to spook her. I know you can see her a little bit. Oh, he says as it totally spooks her. There you go. There's the menace. I'm totally going to leave that there for a while and go back to the podcast because she was laying down and being cute. And if I can just have a sidekick kitten, I think that's amazing. Anyways, we were doing comments. I gave a thumbs up for Kevin, and I just gave all that work for Kevin. Oh, big meow. Big meow. Really? I get you in frame, and you're just like, If that's not having a cat, I don't know what is. We'll go back to just... no, nothing. This. I thought I lost you for a second. I got so afraid. That was so bad. Okay, and then next up, the same person. It's a sign of a really awesome piece of gear when you just play instead of diddling the knobs. Exactly, yeah. No, that pedal was great. Usually, when I go from like humbuckers to single coils, it sounds quite different. You know, just the amount of gain. This is a fairly hot bridge humbucker, which is like the main one I like to use. That's why it's a hotter one. And then my Strat is just 3 single coils, very plain Jane in that sense. So usually I have to quickly, make a new sound before, as I go. And I show that because that's part of demoing the pedal. But with the Super Lion Leady Black 68, whatever it's called, I just plugged in the Strat and it still sounded great. So I kept tweaking the knobs, but I just kept playing it. Because, yeah, like he said, it's a sign of a piece of gear that's really good when you just play it instead of tweaking it. Next up is the last up, and then we're going to get to other things. Oh, don't pull on my cord, kitty cat. She's freaking out. It is on my old video, not that old, I guess 2020. It seems like a lifetime ago. It's a vocal cover where I'm just singing on top of the song of In My Dreams With You by Steve Vai / Good old Devin Townsend there. And it says, great performance. Guess I've got a singer as you in my band. Send me some tracks, bro. I'm always down to hear some stuff. If you just want me to wail on it, I'll wail on it. If you have good parts, I'll do your good parts. But yeah, I'm always down to send things. I can't promise I'll deliver, but it's fun. It's always fun to try, right? So I'll comment. Maybe you can message each other on YouTube, can't you? Okay, if you can't message each other, I will, I'll find a way to reach out to you there. Or you can reach out to me, dang it. That's the whole point. Because yes, send me some stuff, or I don't know, drop a link to something at the next one if you see this. You're not going to see this. This is a completely separate video. Maybe I'll link it. That'd be a good marketing thing. Anyways, that's comments for the week. I have some things written down, not quite 10. First up, Sundays are the day of the Rick Chappell podcast. That should be obvious by now. I don't know if you're even paying attention. Good Lord. But Sundays in December, Rick Chappell has to go to work. And that just sucks. So we will still be on Sundays due to the magic of pre-recording. Saturday nights. So this is kind of my Saturday Night Live. That's not live. But I don't edit it. So hey, live from my apartment. No. I don't want to work Sundays, but I agreed to do a few of them because I would very much like the money. It's money, you know? And my job is good, so hey, I'll take it when I can get it. What's up next on the list? What's up next on the list? Clear my throat. I talked plenty about pedals. We don't need to do that anymore. Let's talk about the 500 subscriber video because, as I just keep blabbing about statistics nobody really cares about, we have hit 490 subscribers. So once again, that's like, we're going on a one a day almost trajectory. That's sort of it. So 500 is within reach. We're getting there. And then growth hopefully will be exponential. But I have a video planned for 500. It's a cover song. I'm starting to get freaked out. I won't have it done in time, but I'll have it done in time. Tomorrow I'm going to finish the guitars. And then the day it hits 500 is probably the day I'm last minute going to shriek out the vocals and then throw it up online there. It's a cover song. It's the Cult of Personality. I found out just recently on the TikTok algorithm there that it's the theme song of a wrestler. So maybe it'll go as low-key viral as my Wake Me Up When September Ends cover did when I posted it the last day of September. And I was like, oh my God, so many thousands of views. And then it stopped because it was October. Like, here, let me tell you about that one. The analytics are funny. It's still getting views. It's still public. That's it. Maybe next September it'll happen again. But where is it? Content. Cover songs. I've been making playlists of things to make my shit easy to find. I should stop swearing so much because I'm pretty sure after a certain point they stop letting you be on YouTube as much. Anyways, wait, no, that's not true. I watch Your Mom Says podcast. They're great. What am I getting at? I'm getting at Waking Up in September Ends has... Oh, he has 870. So not thousands, but all of that happened like... And then dead stop. Like, it all happened in the first 4 days. So that was pretty good pace for me. And then in the last... 63 days, it's gotten like 30. So I guess that's a September song, is what I'm getting at. Hopefully, the Cult of Personality is not a song that goes in and out of fashion when a wrestler comes and goes. But a great classic that we all know and love. Even though when I fell in love with it this summer and played it at work a bunch, and it was, you know, a great tune we all enjoyed, and I overplayed. Even though we played the record, and that was fun. There's some great songs on that. And there's a song called Glamour Boy that sounds like a Taylor Swift song, and it's amazing. But what am I getting at? Hopefully the Cult of Personality video will perform more than 4 days, you know? What's up next? Outlier Progress, the new record. It's coming along good, man. In the past week, I've done a bunch. And by that, I've worked on it for like 2 full days. I had my friend Chris, who I work with, come over and do the second half of all the violins. Because earlier on in the year, I think it was like September maybe, I went to his house and brought some microphones and whatnot. And we recorded violins for, I think, 2 or 3 songs on my new record. And I had like 6 in mind, but I knew we weren't going to do them all that day. So we did 2 or 3 and then called it. And then my car broke down and I couldn't get back out to him. And then the winter came. And in the winter, I don't have a car at all anyways. So he was like, oh, I'll just come to you. And I was like, awesome. And then it just didn't work scheduling wise until now, the very end of November there. But we did it. We finished the last couple songs. Part of it got messed up, not his fault. One of the microphones. I tried to have my main beautiful microphone and then an ambient mic way off in the corner. Turns out the corner was too noisy. So, aw shucks. I guess I'll just have to use beautiful reverb plugins. Ain't that terrible. But it came together really well. He's a terrific player. So my scratch together thing of sheet music that Logic spits out when you make MIDI, he can make sense of it even though it's not accurate, and I have to be like, oh no, the rhythm's actually, or whatever, on a guitar real quick, and then he punches it in, like we have a way to work together that's, I think, a little bit torturous for him because he's a learned classical musician, and if I wrote it down correctly he could nail it first try, but I don't know how to write, so I'm like, hey, it goes like this. Or whatever for 20 minutes. But we get it done, and it's good. So I did that all last week. I'm trying to talk about progress still. We don't need any more comments. Let's get rid of that. Then I finally got around to recording some acoustic guitar on the song that features Anneke van Giersbergen. So that's, I think, one of the most beautiful songs on the record. Her vocals are the most beautiful vocals on the record. I'll say that right now. I'm going to try to be no slouch on this one. Going to, again, do my best. But I was lucky enough to get a feature by Anneke van Giersbergen. So she blew it out of the water. I've had the files for like 3 years now. And I had to up the whole quality of the rest of the record to match what I thought she added to it. So that involved writing 6 new songs, maybe 8 new songs. I mean, it involved writing 40 new songs, but I kept 8 of them. And I kept a couple from the project that I had in mind back when I sent her the demo. And yeah, it's a new album now, and it's so much better than it would have been before if I had the other songs. So yeah, sometimes it's worth procrastinating, kids. I didn't procrastinate. I had the other album I was doing at the same time, Black Tie Affair, that's done and out, and could have been better, but hey, it is what it is. That's how it goes, man. I think it sounds good for the most part. But what am I trying to say? The new album is coming together really well, is the main point I'm trying to make here. And all I have to do now is sing it, which is the most horrifying part. Like I said, I will not slouch compared to Anneke, hopefully. But I also don't want to just try to sound like Devin Townsend at all, because, she's contributed so much great stuff to his music, and then I've now been lucky enough for her to contribute to mine this one time so far. It might be ever, I don't know. I hope not. But yeah, a part of the new songs was I tried to write some that didn't sound too Devin Townsend-y. I had some different flavor to it. And I think that went really well. Some of them turned out amazing and are turning out amazing. So I have a lot of singing to do, and it all has to happen this month. And this month just got 1 week shorter for me because a point we're going to talk about, right now, let's jump around. That's the fun part. Is the last week of December there, or not the last week, I think the week before Christmas. So the last week I still have to do whatever and then do Christmas. But there is a week in December here yet to be finalized where my apartment is likely to be filled 24/7, literally, like they're going to be sleeping here with a whole band. Just 3 dudes, actually, really. But I think one of them will crash in here and 2 of them will crash in the living room, or 2 will be in here and 1 in the living room, and I have my bedroom to stay out. And they are contractors by trade and some friends of mine by life, And so they're going to crash here, and while I'm at work, they are going to tear my bathroom apart and renovate it. for the cost of, just not the labor, obviously that's what they're doing, but just the materials. That's the word I'm looking for. So it's going to be awesome. I will get a renovated bathroom. And then when I come home from work, I'm not recording my music. I'm recording a little project with them. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be a time. It's going to be a little chaotic because I've decided to put off doing my thing till now. I was supposed to do this with them in the summer, and then we both procrastinated till the end of the year and wanted to do this year. So yeah, man, I would love to start doing a little more music for other people, like in terms of production and recording. I don't love having people over to the place and doing all that, but these are some buddies, so it's a good dry run, I would definitely be down to mix things. Keep throwing that out in the universe, because you can just send me files, bro, and then I'll do my best to make it sound as good as I can. But yeah, the December project is going to be a thing, I'm sure, for all parties involved, their project and mine. And I'm going to do my best to have all of my vocals done by the time they show up, and then do their thing while they're here. And then when they're gone, I will just be basically bouncing back and forth between mixing their thing and mixing my thing based off of whatever deadline they have, which I don't know if they have one just yet. And then whatever deadline I have, which is I would like to be done all the mixing by the end of January, and then give it to the guy to master for all of February, and then put it out, I guess, early summer? I said it was going to be early next year, but maybe it's mid next year. I don't know. I just like to have some time to make some extra content that goes with it and make the release a little more than just like, hey, it's out, there you go. You want to be like, this week there's videos and stuff, and you turn it into a thing to try to beg for attention, to not get 3 lessons in a year or whatever the worst performing song I have has done, which I'm sure is very, very low. The best performing song I have is I think my song London Fog, off of my last album, Black Tie Affair. And it's a great song. I'm very proud of that one. I will probably do a concert next year online, because that's where anybody I have that I consider a fan is. But it'll be online. It'll be another streaming one. I did one last year. You can find it on here. It's just, and it's called like live stream concert number 1 or something like that. What's the subtitle? Is things kind of went to plan? Because it kind of went to plan. Like there were some glitches. There's a camera that I set up that you never saw, so some of the cuts didn't happen. I had it all edited in real time. It was live, and I posted it afterwards. I learned a lot. The next one will sound better and look better and be better, And I even played some songs off of this upcoming album already. So if you really want to hear any of the songs that I've been working on for this past year, the old versions are played live in a way. And there's backing videos and some cool stuff. I made it look pretty good still. Not that this year will be the first one that looks pro. Because I think last year oh my God, let's just talk about that a little bit more, because it was a workload, man. I decided to do it and announced to do it, and then got ideas to make it better, and then crunch time happened. Like, I edited the camera cuts on my lunch breaks at work on my laptop, because you don't need to be here to do that. Like, all it is, the way I had it set up is I had multiple cameras around the room, all controlled by my laptop, which is what's recording everything always. That's how I film, is attached to a computer. So I was doing that, and I had the camera cuts synced up within this just to go to other ones I had set around the room. And those camera cuts were set to come, however, from another computer. So my computer that was playing all the audio and the movies and everything was telling the recording computer when to cut the camera. And they all lined up, like there was no real delay or anything. One of the cuts didn't work, like call it camera A, B, C, D or whatever. D just never activated. So it didn't go to blank, thank God. It just wouldn't cut to anything. It just stayed on the camera it was on. So some of the timing isn't quite what I expected, because I timed it just by sitting there at lunch, eating a McDonald's hamburger, tapping 1, 2, 3, or 4, basically, as I listened to the music. So with that said, I think it turned out pretty good. I also edited the back. I edited the videos all at home, because that takes a lot more battery. So kind of had to do that. Oh, I also did it with a free trial of Ableton Live, because I only had the free trial of Ableton Live, and now I don't have any Ableton Live. So I think at my work, I get a free version of it that will allow me to do enough to run another live stream. I don't want to have to buy Ableton Live. It's expensive, but it's very good. If it's worth it to anybody who wants it and maybe doesn't have any kind of digital audio workstation, I have Logic. I know Logic. I use Logic. I tampered with Luna for a while. I want to go back. It was really cool, but I just haven't got around to it, and this project isn't in that DAW, so I'm not switching, man. Not just yet, and not for this. But to switch around tools for projects is fun, so my rambling point is maybe you should buy Ableton, but not me, because I think I get it for free. What else is on our list? Oh, the tape echo that I think I talked about it last week. My work took in a real, legit, vintage 1970 something Roland RE201 Space Echo. And it was so clean that there was still plastic around the knobs. Like it was mint. So we tucked it away for our Boxing Day sale. But since it was tucked away, I was like, I have a whole month basically to think about buying it myself. So I moved around some stuff on my desk and I thought about, if it would fit. And it's expensive, so I was like, well, I know I can't bring it home anytime soon, but would it even wire in, in the way that I could take advantage of it the most? And I really thought about it. And then my old boss came in and I was like, oh, dude, I got something you gotta see. And I showed him the tape echo and he was like, how much are you guys gonna ask for it? And I told him, and he was like, can I buy it today? And I was like, I'm not supposed to, but like, I don't know, you used to be my boss, so like, I'll do whatever you say, bro. So yeah, we hooked him up. He bought it, so I could possibly borrow it, if I really, really needed to for a weekend or something. But probably not for a little while. I'm sure he's enjoying the crap out of it. It did inspire me, however. The reason I keep looking over here is I have, you can see, yeah, it's in the angle, the RE202. So it's the Boss. I'm turning it off there so you can hear what it does. And back on. It's a tape echo that I have it set up even with a foot pedal that it'll do some crazy things. And it mimics the tape, so I can even do ramp ups and make it distort or saturate it. It's a great tool, don't get me wrong. But I kind of considered buying the real one. I should point out, just for the gear nerds in you and me, that I am, of course, using my Line 6 DL4 on top of many, many Axe FX delays and whatnot to achieve the tone you're hearing, and some UAD delays in console. Hey, Kev. Oh, we're bringing back the Kev Cam? You know it. I'm going to get these transitions smooth eventually, and we'll get her into like a consistent rhythm, I'll put a bed up there or something. We'll see if we get a couple minutes of cute kitten stuff. What else we have to talk about? Oh, I was going to talk about the guitar a little bit. Hopefully we don't just show her cleaning herself. Can I get the angle a little better? Water jug is my tripod. There you go. It's your dramatic Kevin angle. The guitar this week, my 120th anniversary Les Paul Standard. I have so many stories I could tell about this. I think I told most of them on the last podcast that I played this on. The first episodes of this podcast, it's a different guitar every week because I was like, that's a good theme to go with for now. But you run out. So now we're repeating just on whatever I feel like playing. But this time I was like, 120, there you go, there's your thing. And I'll play it on the 120th episode if we get that far, you betcha. You betcha, is what I was trying to say. Also, we're not just showing you Kevin's butt. She's being lame. Kittens, man. They never do what you want when you want. Sometimes she'll like purr and turn into a little ball up there and be cute. Other times she just licks her face. Anyways, the guitar. What story should we share about it this week? Which ones did I write down? The stolen story is the big one. It was stolen from me, kind of. So we'll go a little more chronological because there's two stories I want to tell. The first is the origin story, let's call it. So I had a Ford pickup truck, a little Ford Ranger. My grandma had given it to me, and it was a great little truck. I didn't like it because it's not my kind of vehicle, but I appreciated it and liked it because it was a vehicle for me to have. Like that, don't get me wrong. But when I had the opportunity to, buy something else, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to buy something else, and then I'll sell the Ford Ranger. And she was like, sure. So I bought something else, and then I got to sell the Ford Ranger. So I sold the Ford Ranger, and on the way home, stopped at Long and McQuaid, because Long and McQuaid is near my bank. And this was hanging up on the wall. And I, that time, had enough money to buy it, which is because I had just sold that truck. It's not the kind of thing I would typically have enough money to buy, but because of that circumstance, I did. Don't get me wrong, there was other things that money was, better spent on or saved for and, blah. But hey, no, there wasn't. I got this thing, and I've loved it ever since. But I did have to hide it from my then girlfriend and mother for maybe, I think I hid it for like 6 months, maybe even somewhat successfully. I had a brown Les Paul Studio, and they were both not very attentive to guitars. So I had a band that knew all about it, and we practiced at my house. So I had this thing hidden in its case under my bed, and then I put it in the studio room, which nobody else went in except for the band, really. It was my bedroom, and I put the bed in like the spare, crappy little, never finished basement room. So the band room had my brown Les Paul in it, my studio. And then one day I just slipped this one in there instead. And then I think like 6 months in or so, at two separate points, I think my girlfriend found out first, or noticed first. She was like, hey, wait a second. That's because it had, I think, double shiny pickups, which was the most obvious giveaway. It's also flame top and a whole different guitar, don't get me wrong, but still a Gibson Les Paul at a glance. And they'd only ever run into the band room real quick during a rehearsal to be like, hey, food's here, or whatever we're doing, you know what I mean? Like, they didn't come in and watch us practice and do all that stuff. So boring. But, yeah, eventually somebody spoiled it for somebody else, I think. And then both of them were like, okay, that's insane, but that's a really beautiful guitar, so hey, I guess good for you. And then over the years, I have, I guess the next thing that happened, the next story to tell, is when it got stolen, is what I'm trying to get to. That same house we were living in got robbed, and 4 guitars made it out of the house. This guitar only made it as far as the front lawn, though. I don't know what happened. I came home and found the house, like, front door gone, people gone. Like, nobody was home when this happened. So I ran into the house, found out that my cats were kind of hidden in a room downstairs. They just hid themselves. I was like, hey, you guys are all right? But there's no door, so I hope you don't get out. So I locked them in a room. And then couldn't help but take stock of the guitars that weren't on the wall, because I had them hung up very much like they are here. And, yeah, it was like, oh my God, that's gone, that's gone, that's gone. And then I was like, this is gone. Fuck. And then I came back outside. My girlfriend was outside in the parking lot. We had just got home from work. And I saw a reflection in the front yard. And I was like, maybe it's a guitar. I don't know what it is, but like, ugh. So I jumped over the railing, ran over, and it was this guitar. It had a chip in, I think, the side down there. Oh, that looks worse than it is. That's not it. That one. That little... Yeah, I don't even know if you can see. There you go. That little chip. And now it has more. Don't get me wrong. It's my guitar. I'm going to beat it. But that was the first nick. So that hurt. But hey, I still have and had at that point the guitar. So that's the story of the time it almost got stolen, even though I did get robbed legit. The next story up, because I don't want to tell you too many, is I guess just the modification, because I hinted at it. It had 2 silver pickups in it, and now I swapped it. Like I mentioned earlier, it has a much, much hotter humbucker. It is a Seymour Duncan. Oh, you being cute yet? Nope. SH4. And hey, sometimes you can get... If the light's just right. It's hard to light flame top guitars, and people were very different. But it's called a root beer burst, and it's kind of pretty. Okay, you're being cute enough that I think we're going to try... the Kevin Cam? See, she makes it so difficult by, like, even though I'm sure she's not aware, she hides behind something. Like she's hiding behind the microphone boom arm. If you would lay the other direction, you would be laying off of the edge of the middle of the shot, and it'd be cute, and you'd be playing along. Oh, I think that may have worked, actually. Like, oh, well, no, she's still just cleaning herself. Okay, guys, the Kevin cam is a work in progress here. It's mostly just a picture of my tape echo at this point. It's not going great. One of these days, no, she saw the bug. I'm never going to be able to film her doing whatever she does next, but maybe she'll jump around behind me or freak out. Kevin's a bugger. That's why you have cats, man. And it's the best part of kittens, is watching them figure out how to do that. We've done the team up thing where I pick her up and like hold her in the corner, and then she eats the bug on the wall. So we're kind of like the Avengers. I'm Ant-Man. Or I guess she's Bugman or whatever. Bug cat. Girl Kev. Girl Ant cat. The Wasp. I don't know. What else do I have? Okay, recording a band in December. I talked about that. Oh, hey, Kevin. Go do your thing. Kill it. Be a murderer. We are supposed to talk about an album of the week, and last week I didn't. So this week I will. Oh, and I thought of one last part last night that we're going to add. There we go. The album of the week. Boo-doo daddy, boo-doo daddy. It's Black Sabbath's Paranoid, man. I'm not the world's biggest Black Sabbath aficionado. I can't pretend to know everything about this thing, but I know Ozzy Osbourne, Geezer Butler, Tony Iommi, and Bill Ward. Oh my God, I'm so sorry, Bill. Are amazing and in top form in their youth. Let's put it that way on this one. I got this album on vinyl at a yard sale of a woman who was scorned by her ex-husband and selling his shit in the driveway. So I think I got it for free or like $3. I think his name... Oh, no, his name's not on this one. His name is on my copy of The Who's Next. I got some great albums from that. Sorry, dude. No, is it on this one? No, I thought there's a little pencil name mark on one of them. Nope, not this one. The last album of the week we did was Appetite for Destruction, I believe. And I did a track by track, so I'm going to try to do a track by track of this one. I haven't done a cover of any songs in this one like I happen to have done on Appetite for Destruction. Did that on purpose. But these are nonetheless amazing tunes. A little more just about me and Ozzy or Sabbath. Ozzy Osbourne was my first concert ever with my dad back when I was like 7 or 8 years old. And it had such an impression on me that I wanted to learn how to play guitar because of it. Like, because of Zakk Wylde playing the No More Tears solo, I was like, yep. Mm-hmm. So that is why I have the Zakk Wylde guitar back there, and that's why I entered that EMG contest years ago, and Zach saw my video, which was super cool, and I won a bunch of stuff. Kevin, just be a sleepy, cute cat, please. Anyways, that's how long I've loved Ozzy, man. I think he was one of my first favorite artists as a kid. So Sabbath was always around. Starting off with War Pigs, a literal classic. Paranoid is the hit. I mean, it's the title of this album and a last-minute song. I can tell you that much history about this album. The other songs are all songs the band had written. And then Paranoid was just thrown in there at the very end. The producer was like, hey, you got another one? And they were like, let's go have lunch and we'll have another one. And they did. And it's the biggest hit that band's ever had. But I don't want to gloss over War Pigs. I've been playing War Pigs like in a jam way since I was like, 12 maybe. I remember I've talked about it on the podcast before, but when I was in middle school, a friend of mine had a family that was very musical, so they would have full on like parties and jams, and there's some older kids that could play better than me and whatnot, so you'd find a way to play together. And I remember playing the drums on War Pigs, because I can't play drums to this day, but you can go da-na, and even if you learn the intro, it's fun. And I was never that good at it, so I was not the drummer role. But War Pigs and Black Sabbath in general is the kind of band, like I said last week with Appetite for Destruction, these are the kind of albums that you can just learn how to play just by listening to. I feel like they're magic. You listen to it enough and you understand where the parts of a drum kit are, like snare. Oh, that's the back. Where the snare is, where the kick pedal is, and where the hi-hats are. And I feel like in your car, you can learn how to play the drums almost. That's not to say you shouldn't take drum lessons and, you can get much better. But not even that they're simple, but like I said, there's simple parts and you can learn a lot just by listening hard, I guess, on both Appetite for Destruction and the great Paranoid. I'm going to pull up the information on the screen here real quick because we found another good shot this time. And hey, we're getting near the end. I had a 10-minute outro kind of idea plan, but as always, my segments run really short when I think they're long and long when I think they're short. So my long's outro will probably be still in here. Anyways, Black Sabbath Paranoid album, not just a single. We want the full shindig. It's their second album. Okay, I was weary to say it's their first because I was pretty sure it was not their first. That's really the only part I wanted to not be wrong about. Let's go back to looking at it like this because it was more fun. Planet Caravan is another classic. We don't need to get into every song. Iron Man, I have a song. I have a story, so I'll tell it. I mean, not only is it the song from Iron Man now, but when I was 5 years old, Iron Man wasn't really all that famous just yet. There was no movies. And I remember loving that song so much and learning it like word for word that I would sing it all the time at home. And we're talking like I would sit on the steps at 9 a.m. and be like, all of a sudden my mind is blanking. Down. Has he lost his mind? Can he see or is he blind? And like we're talking full song front to back, and then I do it again. And my aunt and uncle would be like hungover trying to sleep, or my dad, like people would be like, would you shut the fuck up? Like it is 9 a.m. It's 8 a.m. It's what it like is the most annoying kid ever. But hey, I still sit around and sing Aussie songs sometimes. So there you go. That's side one. I love that albums are side one and side two. Side two, I don't know nearly as well. I know Electric Funeral, of course. Hand of Doom and Rat Salad, I can't say I know very well. Fairies Wear Boots, however, was my dad's favorite song. And a song about beating up Nazis. So that's always cool. You can show off that inner jacket there. May as well. Because vinyl has like artwork. I would love to make a vinyl of my next album. Or my last album, or of any of my albums. But they're expensive, and you have to make like 1,000 to make it like profitable to sell even one, and then you have to sell all like 1,000. And I so far have sold, I think 90 copies of the CD I came out with in January. So it's not zero, but it's not a lot. There's no real extra stuff in here. I got all the band name right because, like I said, I love these guys since I was a little kid. Produced by Roger Bain for Tony Hall Enterprises. That I didn't know. Recorded at Regent Sound and Island Studios. Engineers Tony Allen and Brian Humphreys. All compositions, of course, by Iommi, Osborne, Butler, and Ward. What I do know a little better about this, I believe, is Tony would write the riffs, obviously. Geezer, the Butler, the bass player, would just be an amazing bass player and come up with all kinds. Oh, no. Geezer wrote the lyrics. That's it. Geezer wrote the lyrics. Bill Ward wrote the drum parts. I don't know. Shit. I used to know this way better. Ozzy only wrote the melodies. That's for sure. That was a thing, right? But I'm sorry. I am totally failing now in this. I want to say, I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to be too wrong about it. The outro I had planned. Let's just gloss right over the fact that album of the week is not going to plan. It was an idea by our Japanese fan, Sam, and I do want to continue doing it, and I will get better at it because that's how these podcasts go and life in general, right? So the outro I'd like to try today is to get away from the ambient, dreamy soundscape we've been using for a second. Make sure I'm not rolling over the kitty cat. And just play some crunchy guitar or whatever for a second. Give you some of the things they call riffs. Where's a Marshall-y sound? Marshall. And now let's get that tape echo out of there. Actually, no, we'll use the tape echo, but we'll turn off the DL4. Pardon me. Big stretch. So let's see. I'm gonna kind of make a tone here, flying by the seat of my pants. Way too much echo at first. Let's blend it together. This is the most riveting part of the show. There's a phasey thing going on I'm not in love with. And I'm not too sure why it's happening. I guess something's getting blended left and right, probably by accident. Okay, that didn't work the best. Okay, forget the tape back up. We've got an XFX full of things. So remember earlier when I said everything's available to me at the tap of my fingers? It's not. It's not. Sometimes things don't work. Let's get a little bit more of that modulation off though, because I would like to just play with some rock and roll sounds. If I get it a little bit louder, there we go. I don't have anything planned to play for you or anything. It's not like I wrote a song to end the podcast. Though, hey, there's an idea for you, I guess. I just wanted to change it up and give you kind of the sound I play with a little more often. This guitar has, like I said earlier, that hotter humbucker in the bridge. And the neck is great, too. Oh, I know why there's that extra crazy delay and stuff going on. That's it. Actually, I didn't mind that, actually. Let's bring that back. This is what I do mean when I say things are available to me at the click of my fingers. Things like those UAD reverbs that I mentioned earlier for the Van Halen thing. I can even have them active now. Actually, let's bring that up. That's a great transition to show something we talked about earlier, and we can bring back. It is, like I said earlier, it's a reverb by UAD. It is the AMS RMX16, and frankly, it's a preset. It's a preset. Where is it under? Who's it by? It's called VH Drums. But there's a lot of presets in this thing. No way to look just by name. Classic things, yeah. Okay, chalking this up once again to things maybe I should have prepared a little better. I promise we'll get it by the hour, man. It's crunch time. Is it Jeff? Did Jeff make this preset? Vocals. No, it's in V's. I know that, so I gotta scroll to the bottom every time. Nope. Motley. Oh, I remember this one. Motley. VH Drums. There we go. So. I'll turn off all the echoes except for the one we're talking about. So here's a dry Marshall sound. No reverb at all. That is the one labeled VH1. Turning it way up so you can hear it. That sounds like the reverb from Van Halen 1 a little bit, you know? There's also a couple more this time. I didn't see that. I didn't realize. For those that need to know, it's by Ross Hogarth, and VH Drums 2 sounds like... And 3 sounds like... Okay, they're very close to each other. Hey, Kev. Bam. Oh, maybe Rod's right. Kevin's the Bogner fan. No, there's nothing Bogner happening right now. Okay, I said we'd get it by the last hour. By the last minute, and we did. So to wrap up this week... Kevin, would you like to join us, please? Please. I guess that corner is the Kevin you get this week. And here's the ear destruction you get to close it. have no other modifications planned for this guitar because it is what you rarely describe as perfect. And with that, let's wrap up episode 20 of the Rick Chappell podcast as Kevin stands on guard for the... This has been fun. I have been Rick. There's, I'm sure, an example of a video or two I've made recently that you could click on at this point if you would be so kind as to do that. Maybe leave a comment. I'll read it next week on the show. If you make a subscription or do a subscription, I will appreciate that also. We'll hit 500 and you'll hear that song. So, convolutedness aside, thank you, and I'll see you next week.